Hey guys, this is Teacher Melissa here with your daily devotional, and we're going to be reading from Acts chapter 2. This is a fun one because we're reading about the story of Pentecost. And if you guys don't know, Pentecost marks the first time where the Holy Spirit came down and was poured out over the believers. And it wasn't this was the first time since Jesus' resurrection, and since Jesus actually made that promise to his disciples that he would send a helper. When Jesus returned back to heaven, he made a promise: I'm not leaving you. I'm going to be with you through this helper called the Holy Spirit. And so that promise is made to us, and it promises not only that Jesus is going to be with us, but that he's going to interact with us. When we see the Holy Spirit come and pour out over the people in the first couple verses, we see that the Holy Spirit actually came and the people experienced the Holy Spirit in real ways. It says in verse 2 that they heard a sound like the blowing of a violent wind, and they saw what seemed to be tongues of fire that rested on each of them, and they began to speak in other tongues. So the Holy Spirit, when it comes, it moves, it comes over us in different ways. And I don't want you guys to feel like if this didn't happen to you, if you don't have tongues, or if you don't see tongues of fire, or if you don't feel a blowing wind, that the Holy Spirit is not there. We'll see later, as Peter explains from the prophet Joel, actually in the Old Testament, that he prophesied that in the last days God will pour out his Spirit, and he gave a list of all kinds of ways that the Holy Spirit will manifest. One is, he says, sons and daughters will prophesy, young men will see visions, old men will dream dreams. To everyone, servants, men and women, he will pour out his Spirit. So I don't want you guys to ever feel like, oh, because I didn't experience God in this way, it wasn't real. There's so many ways that God interacts with each of us, and I will just share for myself. Yes, I feel the Holy Spirit in me, where he's enabling me in a lot of giftings. Like when I serve on the prophetic team and I feel the Holy Spirit and I ask the Holy Spirit to come and help me. But also I experience God and I feel the Holy Spirit through me a lot of times in worship and in prayer and reading the Bible. And for me, a lot of times it comes through an overwhelming feeling of emotion, and sometimes it even causes me to just start crying. Sometimes I feel just an amazing sense of peace or of joy. And to me, that's a sign that the Holy Spirit is there and that he's with me and he's interacting with me. Just because Jesus went back to be with his Father doesn't mean that we can't have a relationship with him. And the Holy Spirit is a way for us to really have a relationship where we can interact with a living God, and it can make our journey of being a believer so much more full, abundant, and fun. So if you guys want to share your experiences with the Holy Spirit that you may have had, I would love to hear it. Or if you're not sure, you can always talk with us or the other leaders. We would love to talk more about the Holy Spirit. I could talk about it for days, but just know that the Holy Spirit is for all believers. Jesus promised the Spirit for those who repented and believed in him. So you have the Holy Spirit there to be your helper. All right, guys, it's been great reading the book of Acts with you, and see you next time.
Ba da 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 da.